It's not that she stopped caring overnight. It's that she found someone who made her forget to care about you. And before she vanished, she told you everything not through silence, but through 5 perfectly rehearsed lies. You didn't notice because they sounded innocent, harmless, believable. I'm not really a texter. I need space. I'm just busy. Every word was a breadcrumb leading to someone else's attention. In this video, we're unlocking the psychology behind those 5 lies. How they sound, what they really mean, and the exact moment you should stop believing them. Because once you see the pattern, her silence won't sting. It'll make sense. Before we dive in, hit subscribe if you're here to understand women on a deeper, psychological level, and drop your city or country in the comments. I want to see how far this message travels. Because every man everywhere has probably faced one of these sweet, well-crafted lies. Now let's decode them, one by one. 1. I'm really busy right now. You've heard it before. It sounds so innocent, like a woman juggling too much. Her job, her friends, her peace. But let's cut through the illusion. When a woman truly desires a man, busy disappears from her vocabulary. Desire finds time. It doesn't make excuses. She texts from the elevator. She calls between meetings. She sends a photo from dinner just to stay connected. Because attraction doesn't respect time. It demands it. So when she tells you she's busy, she's not talking about her schedule. She's revealing her priorities. And unfortunately, you're not on the list. That's not cruelty. That's hierarchy. You're not competing with her workload. You're competing with the man she's excited about. But here's what happens next. Men who don't understand this start rationalizing it away. They tell themselves, she's just independent. She's focused. She's probably overwhelmed. That's how emotional denial begins. You don't want to lose her, so you start accepting breadcrumbs, delayed replies, half-hearted conversations, excuses that almost sound believable. But here's the brutal truth. Every time you tolerate it, you silently teach her that she can keep you waiting, that your world revolves around hers. You transform from the prize to the placeholder. And women, consciously or not, test value through access. The moment she senses that you'll stay no matter how little she gives, the respect evaporates. She knows she doesn't need to invest because you already have. That's how men end up trapped in emotional limbo, chasing someone who's already emotionally checked out. Here's the truth most men never hear. Busy is rarely about time. It's about energy. When a woman says, I'm busy, what she really means is, I don't have the emotional bandwidth for you. And that bandwidth is being spent elsewhere, on someone who excites her, challenges her, makes her feel alive. You've become convenience. You're safe, predictable. And to her psychology, predictability is the death of desire. So stop decoding her words. Start observing her actions. A woman's behavior is louder than her language. If she's truly interested, you'll feel it. Through consistency, not excuses. You won't need to ask for her time. She'll offer it. But when her communication turns mechanical and her effort feels rationed, that's not confusion. That's clarity. So what should you do? Don't chase. Don't confront. Don't plead. The most masculine move isn't demanding her attention. It's withdrawing your own. You're not punishing her. You're protecting your energy. You don't react to her absence. You mirror it. Because when you stop investing where you're not valued, the dynamic shifts. You go from pursuit to power. Let her be busy. Let her calendar stay full. Let her realize eventually that you're not waiting anymore. Because a woman who truly wants you will find you no matter how full her schedule looks. And a woman who doesn't, well, she just gave you the answer you were too afraid to ask for. Remember, when she says she's busy, she's never busy. She's just busy avoiding you. 2. I'm not really a texter. This one hits differently. At first it sounds reasonable, even charming. You think she's just low maintenance. She's not glued to her phone like other girls. She's different. But here's the uncomfortable truth. No modern woman is not a texter. Her phone is her emotional oxygen. It's where she connects, flirts, validates, escapes. If she's not texting you, she's texting someone else. When a woman says, "I'm not really a texter," what she's really saying is, "I'm not emotionally invested enough in you to stay engaged." And yet most men take the bait. They nod, smile, and say, "That's fine." Then they keep texting first, waiting hours, sometimes days, for dry, half-hearted replies. Meanwhile, she's online, posting stories, laughing in comments, engaging, just not with you. That's not disinterest in texting, that's selective engagement. Here's what's happening beneath the surface. In psychology, attention follows dopamine. When a woman's emotional chemistry shifts towards someone else, her brain rewires where she gets that dopamine hit. She doesn't stop texting because she hates phones. She stops because your presence doesn't stimulate her anymore. She's not anticipating your messages. She's avoiding them. Not out of hatred, out of emotional replacement. This is where most men destroy their own position by overcompensating. They text twice, maybe 3 times. They send memes. They double down. What they're really doing is trying to reanimate a dead conversation by feeding energy to someone who's already disconnected. But energy doesn't revive attraction. It exposes imbalance. The more effort you give to someone who's indifferent, the less respect they have for you. When she slows communication, that's not your cue to push harder. It's your cue to pause. You can't force connection with someone who's already checked out. You can only reclaim your self-control by refusing to beg for attention that used to come naturally. 3. I need space and time. These 5 words hit like a slow punch, soft enough to sound gentle, heavy enough to break something inside you. She says it calmly, like she's protecting your feelings. You nod, because what else can you do? You think it's temporary. You tell yourself she's overwhelmed, maybe confused, maybe scared of how fast things moved. But that's not what's happening. What she's really saying is, I need space not to breathe, but to explore. Because when a woman is truly drawn to a man, she doesn't crave distance. She craves closeness. The feminine energy expands toward what excites it. But when that excitement dies, she starts creating distance emotionally first, then physically. I need space isn't an emotional necessity. It's a psychological shield, her way of softening the truth that she no longer feels the same. In psychology, this is called avoidant detachment. It's when someone fears guilt or confrontation. So instead of saying, I've lost interest, they say, I need time. Time to think. Time to heal. Time to figure things out. But the reality is, she's already moved on emotionally. She just hasn't found the courage to make it official. It's easier to frame withdrawal as self-care than to admit she's investing her attention elsewhere. And here's where men break their own hearts. They respond with patience, with empathy, with hope. They say things like, take all the time you need. I'll be here when you're ready. That's not loyalty. That's self-betrayal. Because what you're really saying is, I'll keep my life on pause while you decide if I'm still worth it. You've surrendered your power to her indecision. You've become the emotional placeholder, the man she keeps warm while she figures out where she really wants to be. But here's the truth no one wants to admit. You can't love someone into clarity. You can't wait someone into wanting you again. When she says she needs space, give her more than she expects. Give her the whole universe and then walk away from it. That's not coldness. That's dignity. Because space isn't a request. It's a revelation. It's her subconscious saying, I need freedom to see what else is out there. And that's your cue not to chase, not to plead, but to walk. Not in anger, in awareness. Because chasing a woman who's asking for space is like begging a ghost to stay. She's already halfway out the door. You can't make her return, but you can decide not to follow her into emotional exile. Here's what happens when you actually respect that distance. You become unpredictable again. You remove the safety net she thought she had. And suddenly, that space she asked for becomes uncomfortable. Not because she misses you, but because she realizes her control is gone. You're no longer orbiting her. You've broken the gravitational pull. And that's when clarity usually hits her. Not the clarity of love, but the clarity of loss. Because women don't usually process absence until it's real. So remember this. When she truly values you, she doesn't ask for space. She asks for closeness. She wants to resolve, not retreat. If she wants to retreat, that's your sign that the connection was built on fantasy, not foundation. So don't wait. Don't beg. Don't negotiate with absence. Because if she truly needed time, she'd be healing with you, not away from you. What she calls space isn't confusion. It's a quiet goodbye she's too gentle to say out loud. Space is not distance. It's disinterest disguised as peace. And here's the paradox. When you accept her need for space without question, without emotion, without begging, that's when she starts feeling what she thought she wouldn't. Your silence becomes louder than her excuses. Your withdrawal becomes the mirror she didn't expect to face. Because in that quiet, she sees what she lost. Not your attention, but your availability. And that's the most powerful message you can ever send. You're free to go. But I'm free to stop waiting. That's the kind of energy women remember. Not the man who chases. The man who walks calm, clear, and untouchable. 4. My phone died. The smallest lie with the biggest meaning. 4 words that sound innocent, accidental, harmless, even funny sometimes. But make no mistake, when a woman says her phone died, and it becomes a pattern, it's never about the battery. It's about priority. Because a woman's phone doesn't die for everyone. It only dies selectively. When she's invested, she keeps that thing charged like her lifeline. But when she's emotionally checked out, when her attention's somewhere else suddenly, 100% becomes 1%. Understand this. In modern dating, a dead phone is the new "I fell asleep early." It's a polite placeholder for "I was talking to someone else." "I didn't want to deal with you tonight. You're no longer the highlight of my screen." And you know what's dangerous? She'll say it with such calm, such softness, that your logic shuts down, because it sounds believable. You tell yourself, she's tired. Maybe she was out with friends. Maybe she really did forget her charger. But deep down, your nervous system knows the truth. It feels the inconsistency. That's why it stings so much. It's not the dead phone that hurts. It's the energy shift, the lack of curiosity, the sudden disinterest, the change in tone that no one else seems to notice but you. And here's where men lose themselves. They start overanalyzing instead of observing. They chase closure from someone who's already closed off. They want honesty from someone addicted to half-truths. But understand this truth, my friend. You'll never get emotional clarity from someone who uses confusion as protection. When she says, "My phone died," what she's really saying is, "I need to control when you have access to me." She's regulating your closeness. And control is the quiet killer of intimacy. So what do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You don't confront it. You don't text again. You let silence become your statement. Because when you stop reacting, you stop rewarding inconsistency. And that's when she realizes something's changed, not her lie, but your energy. She can't play the same game when you stop being a player in it. Your calm withdrawal speaks volumes. I'm not angry. I'm aware. And awareness is the most intimidating emotion to a woman who survives on manipulation. Because you can't emotionally control a man who's not seeking reassurance. You can't gaslight a man who's already seen the pattern. So remember, it's never about the phone. It's about attention. And attention doesn't die. It shifts. 5. I've just been busy. The most common, the most believable, the most weaponized phrase in the modern dating dictionary. Busy. Such a convenient word. A word that softens rejection. But here's the raw truth. No one is too busy for what they value. When a woman says, "I've just been busy," she's not describing her schedule. She's describing her priorities. Busy is the socially acceptable way of saying, "I've been investing my time elsewhere." It's not about work. It's not about stress. It's about attention, and attention always tells the truth before words do. Look closely. When she wants to see you, time bends. When she doesn't, time breaks. Because energy is elastic when desire is real, but rigid when attraction is gone. You can feel it in how long it takes her to reply, in the dryness of her tone, in how every message feels like an interruption instead of an invitation. And yet men keep forgiving busy. They tell themselves she's overwhelmed. She's just focused right now. She'll come around. But what they're really doing is negotiating for emotional leftovers. Let's call it what it is. Busy is the graveyard where connection goes to die. Quietly, politely, invisibly. Because no woman is ever too busy for a man she's obsessed with. If she can scroll, post, and laugh with friends, she can text. If she can binge a show, she can reply. If she can breathe, she can make time. The truth is she's not busy. She's occupied. Occupied with someone or something that makes her feel more alive than you currently do. And that realization cuts deep, doesn't it? But it's also your liberation. Because once you stop chasing busy, you start attracting available. You stop trying to fit into someone's distraction and start demanding presence. And here's the paradox. When you finally walk away, when you stop explaining your worth, that's when she'll suddenly find the time. Because absence creates curiosity, and curiosity reactivates what consistency once killed. But by then you'll be too evolved to care, because you'll realize her busy wasn't rejection, it was redirection. A divine way of saying, you deserve someone whose free time includes you, not excludes you. The hidden pattern behind all 5 lies. I'm not really a texter. I need space. My phone died. I've been busy. And the silent 5th one. It's not you, it's me. Different words, same message. They all mean, my energy is elsewhere. That's it. That's the code. Women rarely tell you the full truth directly, not because they're evil, but because they're emotional diplomats. They soften truth to protect your ego and their reputation. But the energy never lies. It always leaks through tone, silence, and pattern. Once you stop chasing words and start reading energy, you stop getting played. Because energy exposes everything. Consistency reveals interest. Silence reveals truth. And excuses reveal emotional exit routes. You don't need to argue. You don't need to decode her every move. You just need to observe the energy trail. Because when a woman's soul is aligned with yours, you won't need to question it. You'll feel it in her effort, her softness, her presence. Everything else? It's negotiation disguised as connection. So the next time you hear any of those 5 lies, don't react. Just smile, because now you understand the code. And the moment you understand the code, you stop chasing confusion and start attracting clarity. Because a man who can read silence doesn't need closure. He becomes it.